Unit 3, Level 1, Classifying Algebraic and Numerical Expressions. Today we will be looking at the essential question, what are the differences between numerical expressions and algebraic expressions? Make sure that you have a copy of the notes and that you are filling them in as you go along. We are learning about the difference between algebraic and numerical expressions because being able to identify and later on write these kinds of expressions will help us model real-world situations. Numerical expressions are expressions that contain numbers and operations such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Here are some examples of numerical expressions. 3 plus 5, which meets the definition, the criteria, right? It has numbers and operations. 64 divided by 8, again, numbers and operations. 4 times 11 plus 3 minus 2. You can also read this as the sum of 4 multiplied by 11 and 3 subtracted by 2. But however you say it, if you look at this expression, it has only numbers and operations, which is why it is an example of a numerical expression. On the other hand, an algebraic expression contains variables and operations such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Now, if you recall, a variable is a letter representing an unknown number. In other words, this is where we start to add the alphabet into math. And anytime we have an unknown, we use a variable to represent that unknown. So here are some examples of algebraic expressions. 8 plus m, or the sum of 8 and m. You see, again, here's an operation, addition, and a variable, m. We don't know the value, so we use a variable to represent this. Another example, x minus 47, also read as the difference of x and 47. And again, it has an operation, minus, and it has a variable, x. Here, 9 times p minus 3. And you notice I read this as 9 times 3. Don't just say 9p because it's not descriptive enough. It doesn't have 9p has no mathematical meaning. When you see a number next to a variable with nothing in between them, that actually signifies the operation of multiplication. So when you read this, the correct way to read it is 9 times p minus 3, or the difference of 9p and 3. And again here, don't say this as just the 5 and the x. Make sure you say the operation. If there's nothing in between the 5 and the x, you would read it as 5 times x, or the product of 5 and x. So let's try some examples. You're going to think about whether each example is algebraic or numerical, and then you are going to write a sentence on your notes indicating why you think it's algebraic or numerical. Now, your reasoning behind this needs to go back to the definition. So, for example, this first one here, the expression is 7 minus 5 times y. If I look at this, it has numbers, but it also has an operation, y, and it has times here, and it has a variable. So since it has a variable, I would say that 7 minus 5y is an algebraic expression because it includes both variables and operations. Make sure to write this down on your paper. So anytime you're explaining if something is algebraic or numerical, you need to go back to the definition for your evidence. And if you'll recall, the definition of an algebraic expression is an expression that contains variables and operations. And I used that definition here in my response. 7 minus 5 times y is an algebraic expression because it includes both variables and operations. Let's look at another one. Is 6 plus 18 divided by 4 an algebraic or numerical expression? Why? Pause the video, take a moment, and look back at your definitions of algebraic and numerical expressions and write a sentence on your paper responding to this question. So in this case, if we look at the expression 6 plus 18 divided by 4 has operations, it has addition and division, and it has numbers 6, 18, and 4, but it does not have variables. So if it has only numbers and operations, that fits the definition of a numerical expression. We say 6 plus 18 divided by 4 is a numerical expression because it only contains numbers and operations. There are no variables. Next, is 12 times y plus 89 an algebraic expression or a numerical expression? Why? In this case, we have 12 times y, so we see we have a variable, and we have addition operation, and we have between the 12 and the y, remember that this represents multiplication. This is 12 times y. So since we have a variable and we have operations, that fits the definition of an algebraic expression. So we say 12 times y plus 89 is an algebraic expression because it contains both variables and operations. You will complete the rest of the notes on your own. Underneath the examples, you will see that you are required to create 2 numerical expressions and 2 algebraic expressions. So in the first column, you will write 2 numerical expressions, and you have examples in your notes to refer to, or you can look back at the definition, and the same goes for algebraic. Create 2 algebraic expressions. So you will create a total of 4 expressions, 2 numerical and 2 algebraic. Finally, you need to write your summary. Your summary must answer the essential question, which was, what are the differences between numerical expressions and algebraic expressions? So you're going to discuss the differences in your summary. You need to include key definitions, such as algebraic expressions and numerical expressions, and give examples of both. Then explain what the difference is between the two kinds of expressions. The summary must be 4 to 5 sentences.